have we really gone digital? Means we are speaking about smart utilities. We are speaking about uh, recently, means now when we are conducting this webinar, AI summit is going on in Delhi. So the question, if I put to the panel, is have we really gone digital? So what should be the answer? If I speak to, means if I put this question to Mr. Prabhupada first.
Right. So, in terms of utility, when you ask me that if we have really gone digital, it has no single answer. Like Mukesh sir rightly told, that we still have a double digit number in AT&C losses, where a larger chunk is from the billing and collection part. And we also see that there are places where smart metering, digitalized metering is taking place, which is reducing these losses. And through digital monitoring, there's no need for a physical inspection to get to generate the billings. So yes, we are moving forward to becoming a digital India, but the journey is long, and it will take some time to get completely digitalized in front, where we can say that utilities are completely digital.
Uh, Mukesh sir, your take on this.
Yeah, Sohail, just to add further what Prabhu has mentioned. So, I think if I just need to talk about are we really digital in terms of power system? I think one of the things which we all need to, and I am definitely proud of that, the way we have rolled out the UPI in India is one of the remarkable work which we have done. So, from the capability perspective, just to create a digital infrastructure or make it roll out for a public, we understand the technology and we understand how the technology will work. If we really need to talk about is the power system today or is going to a digital in India, if we just specifically talk about distribution utilities, as Prabhu mentioned, I think we need to take steps. What are the low-hanging fruit which we need to focus first? So the low-hanging fruit is where we are struggling to reduce debt, where we are struggling to reduce losses. These are the areas which we are focusing on. Ministry of Power, along with the central government and other state governments, are working to reduce those areas as well. Are we really ready for the complete digital rollout? The answer is no, because we need to strengthen the infrastructure. We need to strengthen the processes which we follow. We need to strengthen the skill available within that power systems, generation, transmission, distribution to really reach to that level. But from the capability perspective, yeah, I think we are capable and we could able to achieve uh, the digital scenario going forward.
I got your point, sir. So, Mr. Jogendra, as Mukesh sir said, means we are capable, but there are some lacks. We are lacking somewhere, some or the other way. So, can you put some shed some light on that?
Yeah, okay. So I would say, we have become digitally enabled, but not yet digitally transformed. So what essentially I meant to say is that, see, obviously we have done a great, progress in terms of digitalization and in terms of implementing some of the digital solutions. For example, now our operations are all digitized. So there is SCADA, there is EMS, there is load dispatch centers. The smart meters are also getting rolled out on a very brisk pace. We have market platforms like exchanges, price discovery is taking place automatically. The scheduling dispatch, a lot of IT tools are being used. But when we see that, are these data, when we're talking about AI summit, when we're talking about AI, so are these data helping us to take intelligent decisions? Are we able to do that? So I would say we are still very far from that. Systems are working, but systems are working in a siloed manner. They're fragmented. The data sharing that that was required to actually implement an efficient and effective AI is still not there. The data backbone is not there. Everybody is working in their own silo. System operator have their own data. The generators have their own data. Transmission have their own data. So is the distribution. So true digital transformation will happen when we'll have a integrated data layer, which is, and on the basis of those we can derive those insights. Then on top of that we are able to build those AI layer which could help us draw the insights, take intelligent decisions, do preventive actions, and help us in the most efficient outcome.
Okay, sir, we heard you. You were also speaking about, discoms. Apart from the role what they're playing right now as a distributors, as a supplier of electricity, you put one point that it has already begun. It's yet more to see. It is playing a role as a facilitator too, with the evolution of distributed energy sources. So I just put this a question to Mr. Mukesh. So, do you believe that discoms are going to play a role more than the distributor to as a facilitator? And your positive points on this.
Definitely, Soil. So we all aware about in India still we have so the distribution utilities are also providing a distribution network as well as they are also having the direct relationship with the customer for metering, billing, and other things as well. If you really need to talk about a developed world where there will be a different supplier who will have a relationship with the consumer for metering, billing, and the network management will be done by the so-called distribution network operator in their language or the distribution utilities in our language. The role definitely when there will be a increasing penetration of DR and there are a lot of local generation happening and the bidirectional power flow is happening. So the role of the distribution utilities is changing drastically uh, all around the world, even in India as well. And now it is not only that they need to ensure 24 by 7 power supply, they also need to ensure the quality of supply as well because customer is more aware, customer is more uh, uh, equipped with a specific requirement. Even customer empowerment, where customer is able to monitor their consumption, customer could able to participate on demand side response as Joginder ji mentioned. So I think uh, if we really need to take to the next step, it is not more like a monopoly. It is more like a one-way relationship where distribution is providing a power to consumer and consumer has no choice other than just to, stick to that whatever he's receiving. Now, both consumer as well as distribution work jointly and they contribute for effective quality of supply, they contribute for effective demand supply management, and they complement each other in terms of generation, in terms of generation as PV, which they are doing on rooftop as well. So, yeah, there will be a collaborative effort which is required now, and the relationship is going to change definitely.
Yeah. Mr. Prabodh, your take on this, sir.
So, as rightly mentioned, there is a transformation on the way where discoms are no more a commodity seller, where they're just selling electricity. They have to switch into the role of a service provider, where they're also facilitating the values and the uptake by the customer in form of, say, the renewable energy integration, the energy storage integration, or in the coming future, from vehicle to load, vehicle to grid, and vehicle to vehicle integration. There is no more a one way road, and the role for awareness creation is also now on the shoulders of the utilities, because a proper demand side management would be a mutual benefit for the consumers as well as the utility themselves.
Okay, there is another question for you, Mr. Prabodh, as we are speaking about. You spoke about EV charging infrastructures. So, if I ask, with the 2,000 crore PME drive, allocation of the Ministry of Power declaring charging an unlicensed activity, right? There are regulatory barriers have eased, right? So, are current policies and funding mechanisms sufficient to attract large-scale private investments in this sector?
Sufficient, I
Or we
cannot.
require
Yeah.
more deeper reforms or tariffs?
So, right. So, if you can remember from the presentation I showed you, there are three levels of charging. One is level one, which is the slow residential charging. Second one is the medium level, which is from, say, 7.3 kilowatt till 22 kilowatt, which is utilized in the official space or the commercial space. And then you have the DCFC, which is the fast charger. So when we talk about the PME drive and the rollout of the scheme and the subsidies, what we see is for EV four-wheeler charging and for the buses, the major subsidy is being given on the DC fast chargers, which will distort the utilization of the grid and will congest the feeder because they have a lot of implication through high power outage. What we need in further policies is to define the area and the role how these level of charging can play and where they should be deployed, along with the time of day use charges and tariffs, so that we incentivize the consumers also, and build some good practices or the best practices in EV charging space. Now at this present time, the state governments have given a flat tariff for EV charging. Thus, the consumers or the fleet owners have no incentive to charge their fleet during through either through storage or during the solar or the wind hours. That is why policies in these aspects are also very necessary when we talk about the EV charging ecosystem.
Okay, got your point, sir. I believe Mr. Mukesh will agree with this point, sir.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt about it. I think just one point also I would like to add further. I think one of the critical things which we really need to see from the Indian perspective, because anytime, when we try to do any measurement which is linked to a revenue, the whatever the metrological measurement, either a meter or a card which is used to be approved by BIS, I think there is a discussion ongoing where whatever the EV charging stations are coming out, the kind of measurement and metrological card which they are using will need to be certified by some sort of a BIS body where the customer can able to have a transparent and trust that whatever the measurement which is happening is aggregated by a notified body. I think this is another area. I think there is a discussion ongoing in European marketplace with reference to MIT. There is a discussion ongoing in Australia with reference to NMI. Those are the notified bodies there. But I think the similar discussion is required in India as well. That what kind of accreditation and approval we need to have based on the measurement which is happening within the charger itself for the consumer to pay.
Sir, Jogendra, sir, your take on this, being part of the utility.
Yeah, so see, I think utility would be happy. I mean, in terms of load, but what I could see some challenges is one is the readiness of the distribution network which is there. So it is not same across all the states. So we might have a central policy to promote EV charging. Then second, maybe interoperability, which has been harped upon. So that interoperability on paper and on actual has to be looked at. So that is something which needs to be seen on the ground how it is going to be achieved, or clear guidelines on that. And perhaps on the tariff side, I think it's the commercial viability is also not same across the states. So while the principles are there, so how this is going to actually come and incorporate those factors like time of day tariff and to make these as a demand response entity. So those are the areas which needs to be seen how it evolves over the period of time. So which will only uh, promote this EV charging at a mass scale, large scale.
So coming to Miss Deepti. Hi, Miss Deepti. Yeah.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah. So being part of the utility, I believe BSES has also implemented few EV charging stations. The question I was putting in the panel was, with the 2,000 crore PM e-drive scheme which has just come out, it has eased the barriers become for the people for unlicensed activity. So are current policies and funding mechanisms sufficient to attract large-scale private players, or do we need something more to do that? Your take on that?
I will not be able to give much insight about the policies, but I can give some insight about the network which we need because I'm working in planning and engineering side. So the challenges which I see with this is the network infrastructure which we need to build, and the constraints which will be there in our network, like the harmonics and all. To build in the DERs into the system, we need to be more conversant with the more advanced levels of planning, like the digital twins and all, which we are implementing in BRPL. We have implemented in one division, 2 feeders we have implemented, and we are going to scale it up. It will give us more visibility to as to where the DRs, the EV station should come up, where V2G should be done, what will be the implications of the solar, which is coming up in a big way, how it will impact our network, how it will impact our power purchase, all these things. We will need to be more vigilant about.
Okay, it's like on initial stage. People are watching, the companies are watching what is going to happen. So putting, which I have earlier also put a question, distributed energy resources have come up. It's that evolved, So is DISCOM now, currently it's playing a role of a supplier, electricity supplier. We are seeing that it can be a facilitator since the distributed energy resources have come. So what is your take on this?
That is the thing which we should be looking on, rather than becoming discoms. It's time to become DSOs, because the consumers are becoming prosumers. The solar, the P2P is coming up. So the consumers can also sell their electricity, solar, which whoever is generating. So, and the whole network how it will behave in coming days. The distribution network, the distribution sector has to be running with the coming technologies, so that it becomes a DSO.
Okay, got your point. We were also discussing about the AT&C losses, and in spite of being digital, my first question was based on that, and we'll come to this AT&C losses also. Have we really, adopted the digitalization in our power systems, and how we are going to, decrease the AT&C losses by the use of digital tools, and what challenges still remains in scaling predictive maintenance across legacy infrastructure. This is a question.
Okay, in BRPL we are at 6% losses. At AT&C losses around 6 point something, so 6.13 to be more precise. So we don't see much case for loss reduction. There are technical losses which are remaining. Very few pockets have commercial losses. So the AT&C is not a big thing for us. But yes, the predictive maintenance, the network healthiness, the use of AI for predictive maintenance is something which we are looking for. Because being in Delhi, we have to cater a very big area, and the consumers' expectations are very high. So to maintain the system reliability, the SAFI, the SADI, we need to be more vigilant, more into the coming technologies. This is where the digital twin and the AI tools come into. The digital twin will give us sitting at one place, we can see the whole network up to LT, up to meters. So we know there is a breakdown, where is a possibility of a breakdown. The load is increasing. We can manage the assets according to the increasing load. Similarly, we are using drones for the survey of the overhead networks. It will give us predictive analysis. Because CA guidelines have come up which also recommends predictive maintenance. It is time to go from reactive to predictive. High time to go from reactive to predictive. So we are using drones for the survey of overhead lines. It will tell us what are the elements which need attention. So before there is a breakdown, there is a huge area blackout, we can take the action beforehand. So that is what we are doing.
Jogendra sir, it's a high time from reactive to predictive. Your take on this, sir?
Yeah, absolutely. Because see, I mean, reactively, it is going to be a big cost for the entire system, because the I mean the both on the supply side, as you discussed, both on the supply side and the consumption side, things are changing so fast. If you are unable to be predictive in nature by application of AML solutions, then it's going to we'll be bearing a very huge cost because of that. So you see, in all aspects, I mean, right from forecasting to predictive maintenance of the assets of the network, to increasing the efficiency of generation through digital twins or IoT based applications. Everywhere, the entire emphasis of AI and ML is to move towards a situation where we are able to predict the health of the assets, we are able to optimize our generation of assets, and able to take measures which could help us in addressing the situation. Now, one example I will say that recently we developed a AI tool called Discom GPT, where we use the uh, substation transformer data of some 9,000 transformer data, and we that GPT itself, it's a Gen AI based layer LLM tool, uh, which could I mean using this ML, we are able to train this tool first to be able to monitor the health of these assets, and then on the basis of LLM we are able to interact with the tool and could figure out that which are these substation transformers where these predictive preventive measures should be taken, which are those high risk transformers out of this 7 8,000, and it was able to give us very precisely those 20 30 transformers where the action should be taken. And it was found so useful, in the sense the Discom has now uh, 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 utilizing this, I mean, using this tool and developing, I mean, as a pilot for 1 year, on the basis of which they will perhaps use it in a full-fledged manner. But it is so useful in and will enable in reducing the cost and enable to have a better availability of the system. So all of this is going to help us, I mean, help the network, reduce the cost, and bring efficiency in our operations.
Mukesh, sir, predictive
Yeah,
maintenance.
so soil, there's no doubt about it that we need to really predictive instead of reactive. As I mentioned earlier as well, that now the expectation is not only about 24 by 7 power availability. It has a quality of supply which is also going to be very important. And customer is not, happy and will allow you to provide a low voltages for a longer period. The days are not far when the customer will definitely ask for why there will be unscheduled outages happening to the grid as well. And when we are having a too much relying on the renewables as well, where the distribution or a prosumer is playing the important role. If you are able to have such kind of a network issue, you are having a more constrained scenarios going forward. So I think the need to predictive management, assessment of those networks, working hand in hand with kind of DR resources connected to it, is a time that need to be think and time need to be work upon.
Right, right. The time need to be worked upon. Mr. Prabodh, do Terry has any role to play in this predictive maintenance, the utilities?
Right. So, on behalf of Terry, I would like to bring before this panel that we are, as I earlier discussed, working very closely with multiple discoms, be it BYPL and BRPL in Delhi, or the Assam's discom, Juvenil in Gujarat. So we are in process of making models and like helping them out in making their digital twins. So a lot of work is already in the field, and we are also helping them out with their energy storage, uh, for their predictive and preemptive angle. We are also making AI models for them. So that's what all I can say about Terry's role in helping discoms out for their productive maintenance.
Okay, got your point. Thank you for this. Mr. Mukesh, sir, again coming to you. Since you are from the smart metering domain, I just want to understand, uh, relating to discounts, what techno-commercial strategies are essential to ensure discoms leverage AMI data for revenue protection? This is the question. Are they really leveraging those AMI data? And if not, then what are the strategies for that?
Yeah, so if I need to talk about soil in terms of revenue protections, in the terms of revenue protection, there are multiple areas where the revenues leakages are happening or happening in past as well. One is the revenue leakages, which we already talked about with reference to billing and collection efficiency, where the MI data is playing a very important role. And if you are having a smart prepayment, you could essentially eliminate that billing and collection efficiency issues at all. If we just move forward, yeah, in terms of certain areas, certain utilities where you will find some sort of a theft or a tampering which is happening by the customers, there are ways and means where you could able to detect those kind of tampering within the meter itself, and you could able to communicate back to the backend system, and the timely action can be taken. There are possibilities where you could able to disconnect the consumer from the remote if some customer is trying to, doing any specific theft. So there are multiple tools, there are multiple datas available with the utilities now, and they are definitely getting too much help in terms of revenue realization by utilizing a smart metering data on it. Uh, I think the data availability is huge. I think it is more about how much you will nurture and how much you will do a deep dive into a data, you will able to get more meaningful. Just give you another specific example. In one of the area where there is a MISP rollout has happened, and they are using a smart prepayment, by buying pattern of that particular area, it is uh, predictable for a discom that when they will get the maximum revenue. Is it on Monday, or is it on Wednesday, or is it on Friday? Because when many times the consumer will top up the meter, they will able to realize that how much revenue we could able to collect on a specific day. So such kind of detailed insight is available, and it is up to us to see how best we could able to harvest those data and get the meaningful outcome of it.
Yogendra sir, your take on this. Yeah, your take on this, sir.
Yeah, I say AMI is not only metering data; it's a data infrastructure. So it's a, I mean, the ability of the smart meter to record the data is immense. I mean, in the sense, uh, so now it depends that what kind of, how you're going to use this data. So data collection is fine. Then it's about developing those analytics, developing those tools on top of that, to be able to draw insights of this data and take actions which are required to be taken. Both, I mean, load management or power procurement or theft detection or preventive maintenance. So all of these are dependent on how we are going to use this data and what kind of tools and analytics we are going to utilize this, on top of which those applications can be built on that.
Okay, sir. Thank you for this. Ms. Dipti, there's a question from panel for you. Someone has asked, since you mentioned harmonics and ARs, since more and more RE generation is being integrated into the system, how the distribution utilities look forward handling the system reliability while moving towards smart metering scalable deployment? Is the question.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
That's what I mentioned, because the way the EV charging and the solar, everything is increasing in our network, and our network is directly connected to it. So we don't even know how our network will behave, how the reverse power flow will affect our network, how the harmonics will behave, how the system network will take it up. So for all this, our network has to be resilient for that. We have specialized network elements designed for that. We have RMUs which have all these kinds of protections inbuilt. We are working with OEMs to develop such tools so that our network is safe with the reverse power flow and considering the harmonics. And there could be what challenges. There could be a number of challenges which we cannot even think of right now. So for that, our technology and OEMs, our standards have to be developed continuously so that the network integrity is maintained.
So it's an ongoing process.
Correct. It's an ongoing process.
Okay. We were discussing about the AMI. So Mr. Jogendra sir said AMI is not only a data, it's an infrastructure for the utilities. So your take on this and how utilities leverage from that AMI?
See, being in a utility, every second, every millisecond, some data is generated in our system. There's a breakdown, there's a load increase, there is a power flow, there could be some load interruptions. We are generating lots of data every millisecond. How to use that data, and with the weather is also affecting. So this is a big infrastructure, big thing which we need to use and use wisely. We are using the past data for load prediction. We are using the past data for the maintenance of our networks. So I agree to whatever the panel has said. That is a big thing to be utilized, but utilized wisely. Utilize wisely. That is where the intelligence, where the human intelligence will come into, along with AI, to utilize it in a better way.